When you first start a business, you might not need to spend money on an inventory management system because your inventories are so low. You might not need to spend money on high end software, a CRM, because you don't have that many clients. You might not also need to spend a high amount of money on making sure your books are in GAAP standard accounting until you get there. My name is Paul Vasquez with Tax Lab, and you need to become an ethical millionaire. So, in your financial documents, there's different grades of resolution. How detailed your information needs to be based on where you are with that business and what you need those for. When you're beginning out in a business, you might just need a separate bank account and a company charge card. And between those two things, because you don't have very many transactions, at the end of the year, you can just look at that statement and determine that you spent X amount of dollars on one thing and X amount of dollars on another. And maybe you have 5 or 6 categories and that's it. Of course, you do want to save those receipts for the IRS, but you've got maybe 2 to 3 receipts to save a month. Very low amount of work needed, very little resolution. There's just not a lot going on. And in the end, it's just maybe between you and the IRS. But as you grow, as your systems grow and become bigger, you kind of have to add different levels of resolution. It's now more important to track inventory more intricately, to make sure you're doing your counts, to make sure your registers close out with a certain amount of money in the cash register every day, to increase the resolution of what can be seen in the documents in the financial reports. In the beginning, you can get by with a minimal amount of accounting, just enough for yourself to understand what's going on in the business, and then of course for the IRS. But once you get to a position where your business has millions of dollars coming into the door, you've got employees, you've got taxes, you've got insurance, you've got loans, you've got grants, you've got a lot of different moving parts. The need to be able to zoom in and have higher resolution on your financial statements increases. And it's okay in the beginning to maybe just have a spreadsheet, a notebook to keep track of that. But the faster and quicker that you grow, the faster you'll need to adopt and implement better financial practices, better accounting methods to make sure that all your needs are met when it comes to what you want to understand about your business, what the tax man wants to understand about your business, what lenders and grant providers want to understand about your business. The resolution of what's included in those financial reports has to increase. And so it may seem that it's not important to have processes where you're double checking inventories and people are signing off on that. But when your business grows to larger, you have to start thinking about, okay, how do I scale this business even on the reporting side? If I were need to report to managers higher up, how would I need to organize my business so a manager could easily report what they reviewed, how they reviewed it, when it was reviewed, and the standards of practice? All that would have to be reportable and verifiable as your business grows in size, because it's not what can fit on one sheet of paper anymore. It's bigger. So you need a way of increasing and decreasing that resolution. So it has to be there. It has to be there. So Something to think about even when you start. While, yes, in the beginning, you may not need that high resolution. If you plan on having your business grow, you need to start thinking about that early on. Each increase of revenue, each increase in complexity probably means an increase in that record keeping and that accounting of what's going on in your business. Sounds like a lot, but that's kind of one of the prices of doing business, is being able to report on what's going on in your business to those interested parties. Well, I know it's a lot, but you have a partner here at Tax Lab. If you need help getting your financial statements in order, go to lab.tax, click on a free 15-minute introductory consult, and my assistant will see if Tax Lab services are right for you. I wish you guys all the success.